So please welcome our next speaker, Sakshi Khandelwal. She is an accomplished IT professional on focus in Java, AWS Community Builder, and cloud technologies. She is employed at Capgemini and Java and Google Cloud Platform. She will educate us on the fascinating subject, where to keep my stuff and where to keep data in different GCP services. So, ma'am, please. Please have a huge round of applause for ma'am.
Audience, please have a huge round of applause. We cannot hear you. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good round of applause. Thank you for that. So, hello Pune, कसं काय? कसं काय? Okay, and for those who can't understand Marathi like me, hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to Cloud Community Pune. As the anchors very well described me already, I hope this button works. Hanji. Oh, I got wrong remote. Good. Good start. Yeah. So my full name is Sakshi Khandelwal. I consider myself as Java cloud developer. I did some certifications. I do write some technical blogs, including Java, GCP, and even AWS. But for this event, you can consider me for GCP. And this is my LinkedIn handler and as well as Medium handler, Sakshi Khandelwal 276. I'll be really happy to connect with you all. So feel free to send me invites. I would really super happy to see new faces in my network. And before going to that, our session is where to keep my stuff. So in this session, we are going to discuss various GCP services that help us to keep our data. That means database services. At the end, we are going to compare those services together. And last but not the least, we are going to discuss some business scenarios as well. So okay, you're with me? Yes? Yes? No? Okay, bye. So let's start. So before jumping to GCP services directly, we need to understand what are the databases categories already available. Though our experts had covered many things already, but a little from my side. So there are many GCP services or GCP categories. Categories could be relational, document, key value, graph. And even in relational, we could consider the types as OLTP and OLAP. OLTP full form, guys? Good. Everyone heard him? OLTP full form? Online transaction processing. Simple, yaar. OLAP full form? Some murmuring is going on. OLAP full form? Good. Online analytic processing. So before starting any application, we need to think. And it is one of the most important factor to consider what type of database we are going to use. It should not happen we already implemented something and after 6 months down the line, we are talking to client, oh, we probably implemented the wrong one, we should have implemented that one. Like if you are the lucky one, your client won't shout at you, but sometimes it could happen. So this decision is very important. And choosing type of database could depend on multiple factors. It could be the type of schema. What type of schema do our application want? Do we want fixed schema? Do we want flexible schema? With flexible schema, we are saying, the schema should be capable enough to evolve with time. Another perspective could be level of transaction properties. What about the asset properties? Do we need 100% atomicity? Do we need 100% consistency? Next, latency. Is our application okay to get the data in minutes, in seconds, or even in microseconds? What is our latency expected? How many transactions our application is going to expect? That could be 1,000, 100,000 or lakh transactions per second. And the last which I could consider is how much data. How much data we are planning to store in our database. Again, that could be petabyte, terabyte, different things, depending on use case to use case. Agree till now here with me? Thank you. So let's start with relational database. Again, relational database was an only option until a decade or a two. Again, it's a kind of popular database or unpopular database depending on our views, and it has predefined schema, strong transactional capabilities. And again, it is used for OLTP operations or OLAP operations. OLTP, again, simple banking applications, we need to have relational databases. So relational databases use case, as we discussed, that could be traditional application, CRM, e-commerce, and the popular databases which we had implemented or used somewhere in between, that could be MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server. Could anyone name more? Postgres, okay. Another one? Okay, fine, that's it. I also recalling the same. And the recommended GCP service for this is Cloud SQL, Cloud Spanner. Now quickly coming to Cloud SQL. Cloud SQL right now supports only 3, PostgreSQL, MySQL and SQL Server. Again, this is a regional database and it is good for medium databases. Basically medium databases, I meant to say, it is very good up to few terabytes, but not more than that. But what about if our application is global? Or what about we need to have, a more number of data stored in that, like more than terabytes. So what would be our option? So the next option for us could be Cloud Spanner. Cloud Spanner, again, unlimited scaling due to, it supports with us horizontal scaling. And it has give 99.999% availability, and again, it is super good for global application. That means, we could deploy our database clusters in different regions. That could save us our latency time. That could be very good depending on some countries' norms and so many things. Now coming to next, relational database, OLAP. So again, the use cases could be reporting applications, if we need to do some analytics, if we need to create some reporting dashboards. So for those things, OLAP is super good. The simplest example I could think of right now, consider there is an insurance company and that company has a huge amount of data. And now company needs to think about a premium plan which depend on such a huge number of data. So for those use cases, we could definitely go for OLAP. And again, the recommended GCP service is BigQuery. BigQuery has already taken by Vijay sir, so I don't think I need to spend much time on that part. But yeah, BigQuery, again, petabyte scale, and it's a distributed warehouse. We generally don't say it as database, we say it as distributed warehouse. Again, could someone answer me why it's basically used for reporting? Any wild guess? No? A little? Yeah, connects directly, good point. But the prime factor, I would say, it led us to query terabytes of data in seconds and petabytes of data in minutes. So that's the reason, it's obviously a very good choice to create any reporting or real-time dashboards. Here with me, we understood some basic GCP services, yes? Yes? Okay, thank you. So coming to NoSQL databases, again, it's a comparatively newer approach, and this has flexible schema, this has horizontal scaling, but it has some trade-off features with our relational database. In this, we can't assume to have fixed schema, we can't assume to have SQL-like queries, we can't assume to have 100% asset implementation. Though some services support a little, but it's not as what we have in transactional databases. So yeah, these are its trade-off features with scalability and high performance. And the recommended GCP service are Cloud Firestore, Cloud Bigtable. Cloud Firestore we discussed little. I hope many of us already remember that. Coming to Cloud Data Store, it's a managed serverless NoSQL document database. Again, it does provide us asset transactions, SQL-like queries. And the next version of Data Store is Firestore. It just has some more advantages with the help of strong consistency. And it does provide us some more libraries for mobile applications or web applications. And basically, data stores are used for mobile applications and web applications. And again, it is recommended for small to medium database. So moving to next, what about we need big database, big NoSQL database. So our option in GCP is Cloud Bigtable. Again, that's a managed, scalable, NoSQL wide column database. If you have seen in this GCP service only, I have not used the word serverless. The reason behind it is it's actually not a serverless application. So if we need to create a table in the Bigtable, we first need to create an instance of Bigtable, then only we will be able to create a table. Hence the reason, we can't have it in a serverless manner. So it's again not a serverless GCP service. It is majorly recommended for the data greater than terabytes or 2 to 3 petabytes of size. And it is recommended for large analytical and operational workloads. And last but not the least again, in-memory databases. As we know, retrieving data from cache memory is comparatively very faster. It gives us very minimum latency, maybe microseconds latency, and many of us as already you have used Redis. We know Redis? Thank you. So the recommended GCP services, memory store. Again, the use cases involved caching, session management, gaming leaderboards, and whatever things you could think about in which, we need data as early as possible, as soon as possible in our application. We are definitely going to use in-memory database. You are with me? Yes? Yes? Okay, come on, we are covering very basic services. Our experts has covered already major things. So let's summarize. Are we ready? Yes, yes, yes. A little more. Come on. Yes? Thank you very much. So again, a quick summary or a quick comparison. If we need to go for relational OLTP, we would think about Cloud SQL or Cloud Spanner. Again, Cloud SQL would be regional with smaller scaling capability, while Cloud Spanner would be global application, again with a high availability of 99.999%. Coming to a relational OLAP, BigQuery would be our option. It is a columnar, and again, it's basically used to keep the data in data warehouse and majorly used for analytical purpose, generate report, dashboards, and so many things. NoSQL databases, again, Cloud Firestore or Data Store, and again, Cloud Bigtable. If we need to go for big table or big data, we will go for Bigtable. And in-memory databases, our GCP option is Cloud Memory Store, and again, it used when we need microseconds of latency. Any doubts in this? Simple? Yes? Thank you very much. I heard one no, I guess. That's fine, we could connect offline. So let's quickly discuss some business scenarios. I have 3 minutes with me, so let's do it. I hope it's readable at the end. Guys, you can read it? Yes? No? No? Okay, I try to, I try to read it. You can listen to me at least. Thank you very much. So consider a scenario, a startup with quickly evolving schema. So consider this. This is a startup. That means data won't be big. Like, we should not consider that a startup with petabyte of data. But obviously there could be cases if the startup is for data services. That's another part. But normally a startup should be medium database. Evolving schema, that means that's not a fixed schema. So our option would be Cloud Data Store. Coming to next, non-relational database with less storage. Again, non-relational, that means flexible database with less storage. The answer would be same, Cloud Data Store. And third one, transactional global database with predefined schema. Transactional global database, that means the size is bigger, predefined schema. We need to go to the OLTP. So answer would be Cloud Spanner. The fourth one, transactional local database processing thousands of transactions. See, thousands of transactions is comparatively less amount, and again the database would be local. So our answer would be Cloud SQL. If here we might have mentioned global database, then in that case the answer could be Cloud Spanner. Cache data, again very simple answer. Memory store, database for analytic processing of petabytes of data. Again, whenever there is a word analytics coming in place, so major of the organizations are using BigQuery, and our answer would be BigQuery. Database for storing huge volume of stream data from IoT devices. Again, for streaming data, we generally don't go for transactional or relational databases. We go for NoSQL. And again, the amount will be obviously huge because we are streaming it continuously. So our answer would be Bigtable. And the last one, database for storing huge stream of time series data. Again, the similar one, the log-based similar. So the answer would be Bigtable. So hope we are clear, or I tried to cover, as general scenarios as possible. You're with me? Thank you very much. So yeah, we are left with 50 seconds. Any questions? No? Nothing? Okay, everyone understood everything. Good. So yeah, that's my end. You was a very good audience. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for directing us on this subject and your efforts. Thank you.
Now I'll request Pranati ma'am to please felicitate our speaker.